coming to you from Freeway Lanes in Wickliffe, Ohio, minutes from downtown Cleveland. It's the PBA Uniroyal Tire Classic. We started with 64. We're down to 4, and they're ready to roll.
From Titusville, Florida, he has one career PBA doubles title and today looks for his first singles win. Currently 5th in the PBA World Rankings, Jason Hurd. A PBA Hall of Famer whose 39 career titles are second only to the great Earl Anthony's 41. He's a 6-time PBA Player of the Year from Ocala, Florida, Walter Ray Williams Jr. He's from Newark, New York, but he loves the state of Ohio, winning both the 1991 ABC Masters and the 2002 PBA World Championship in Toledo. Doug Kent. A 2-time All-American at Wichita State University. Today he hopes to add PBA title number 3 to his resume. From Wichita, Kansas, Lonnie Waliczek. These are your 4 finalists for the PBA Uniroyal Tire Classic.
Welcome everyone to suburban Cleveland, Ohio, and the nation's largest bowling center, 96 lanes here in Wickliffe. Dave Ryan and Randy Peterson along with our entire crew looking forward to another exciting PBA tournament. Randy, let's break down the brackets and the matchups.
In semifinal number 1, Jason Hurd, who is second on the PBA Tour in average, faces Walter Ray Williams Jr., who makes a record 145th TV Finals appearance today. Semifinal number 2 pits Doug Kent, appearing under the TV lights for the first time since December 2002 against Lonnie Waliczek, whose average this week was the highest of today's 4 bowlers. Dave?
And we start with Jason Hurd. You talked about in years past being a little bit tense, a little bit nervous heading into TV matches. How's your approach changed today, and how do you feel?
I'm going to come in and just let things free, little relaxed today, and just try and make as good a shots as I can.
Good luck against the legendary Hall of Famer with 39 career wins. Does winning number 40 mean a lot to you, Walter Ray?
Well, it would mean as much as any other title. I want to win every single week. The problem is there's a lot of good players out here, and more often than not I don't win tournaments, but I got a good chance.
Ready to go, Randy. Walter Ray Williams Jr., new look without the beard against Jason Hurd.
No beard and a new do. Lots of money up for grabs, $40,000 for first, and the all-important 25,000 points. Remember, there is no wild card match in the new format. 64-man, all-exempt field match play only. So Jason Hurd will start the match on the left lane.
So, Randy, we'll see how Jason responds. Nerves an issue with him in the past. Tough split to start.
A lot of friction in the outside part of the lane all week long. This ball here does not get back to the 1-3. He needs to get the spare ball to the left side of the 2-pin, slide it over into the 10.
2-4-10, difficult split. Won't get it. Chops the 4, and Jason Hurd has an open frame to begin play. And it's not the hole you want to dig yourself against a legend like Walter Ray Williams Jr.
And his first open in 46 frames.
Tough time for it. Walter Ray trying to become just the second ever bowler to win 40. Good start for him. He's in the pocket. Leading us, Randy, to the first Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
And a sweet matchup it is. Take a look at this average. The difference here, about 7 pins. But keep in mind the last 2 rounds, the round of 16 and the round of 8, Jason Hurd averaged 239.
97 in a row without an open. Deadeye. Looks good. shreds the rack again and starts with a double. In case you're wondering about Walter Ray's new look, shaved the beard July 12th as a present to his wife, Paige, who was watching one of those new look shows, the reality shows on TV, and said, you know what? That guy on TV looks better without a beard. Maybe you would.
The Walter Ray makeover.
I like it. Oh, look out. Too far right into the channel. Well, you know, those nerves are always an issue, Randy. We talked with Jason a few moments before the show started, and he appeared to be a little bit off.
Jason has struggled on television, averaging only 182 in his last 4 trips to the telecast, and that's the only thing that's holding this guy back.
Trying to shake it off now, and unfortunately for him, leaves the 4, so back-to-back open frames. Getting as far for Jason Hurd. 60-7 match play record, the average 227.91, a 6-game win over West Malott on Friday in the round of 8. By some pretty big names en route to the TV show. Lane level look. A better path to the pocket. Maybe that'll relax Jason Hurd.
Practice balls, right?
Jason Hurd, second in average on the PBA Tour coming into this week. Has to learn how to bowl on television. And maybe that gutter ball helped loosen him up, because that shot there was pretty good.
Well, after the gutter ball, Jason in a big hole. Down 33 pins. Chance for a 43-pin lead for Walter Ray. Dead-eye! Tap number 10, and down she goes.
I like to refer to this as the old tomahawk 10. The 6-pin goes to the sidewall. Watch it just lean on the 10. And when you're on a double, that's a nice thing to have happen.
234.39 average, Randy, for Walter Ray, and a 16-7 match play record. Got by the Chief, Mike Edwards. 5 games in the round of 8 Friday. Edwards, the leader of the Tour Trials this year. Is he ever on?
Coming right at you. That ball on the second board, and that's perfect in the 1-3 pocket.
Is it because of our short 35-foot pattern the bowlers are going so far to the right here? As Hurd comes in a little bit high. Walter Ray's really flirting with that channel going so far right there.
Well, it's because there's friction to the outside part of the lane, Dave, and Walter Ray's going to use it. Now, you saw that on that right lane, Jason Hurd's ball went into the gutter. The first time he was up, he overcompensates, doesn't want that to happen again. He misses a little bit too far to the left, and that ball goes high.
Left of 3-6. Takes care of that spare for a mark. Well, Walter Ray has the front 4. And it's awfully difficult with the way he's bowling to overcome in our 1-game TV format here. You're one and done. Right to the semifinals. The wild card matches we've had in the past couple of years on our ESPN PBA shows.
Wow.
Not in the pocket again.
Jason Hurd, a big, high-rev power player who likes to go left to right, and his ball reaction is not very good at all. And when you're up against a guy by the name of Walter Ray Williams Jr., who starts with the front 4, and you're shooting 170, not a pretty picture.
Well, 8 and 10 up there for Jason. Difficult split to try to convert. Making his 9th career TV appearance today here in Cleveland from Titusville, Florida. This is our first semifinal. All-time winners. There's late great Earl Anthony. 41 tour titles. Four pin there for Walter Ray.
You're asking about why Walter Ray's playing that far out. Well, here's the thing. If he gets it a pinch wide, it hooks up high like it just did there. A little bit wide of that, it's in the gutter at 0.
Flirting with danger, potentially. Perfect single pin conversion rate. Continues that. Talk to Walter Ray about trying to catch Earl Anthony. He tries as hard as he can to downplay the achievement. Says, really, that's for you guys in the media to pump up. For me, sure, it's special, but Maybe not as much as the hype would lead us to believe.
Pretty humble guy. Big lead through 6 frames, Dave Ryan.
Does he ever look good? When we come back, we'll talk about some history being made here. Liz Johnson, the first ever woman to bowl in match play to national events. And the conclusion of this semifinal. It's next. The PBA on ESPN is brought to you by Uniroyal Tires, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal Tires, trusted by American families since 1892. By Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. And by Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? Downtown Cleveland, about 15 minutes from where we are in the suburbs here in Wickliffe, Ohio, as the PBA returns to Cleveland. 32nd time overall, the first time since 1993. And right now it is all Walter Ray Williams Jr., a huge lead over Jason Hurd in the first semifinal. Welcome back, Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, our entire crew. Liz Johnson from Western New York near Buffalo made some history this week. First ever woman to compete in a national PBA event in match play. Really, Randy, a week she'll never forget.
Kudos to Liz Johnson. Getting to the match play portion of the tournament, she didn't get an exemption. She earned her way there, eventually losing to her good friend Brad Angelo in the first round of match play.
You know, I just had to keep plugging away. I grinded it out the last couple games, but it's really exciting knowing I was the first female to make the men's cut.
The big story, however, has to be Walter Ray Williams Jr. trying to reach the pinnacle of our sport, and that is trying to catch the late, great Earl Anthony, who has 41 career titles. Walter Ray Williams Jr. with 39, 2 wins away, and he ties that record.
And Walter Ray well on his way, convincing lead so far with Jason Hurd in the first semifinal. Oil pattern, will it benefit him? We're on the cheetah pattern. It's short, 35 feet.
Well, early on, it sure looks that way. The cheetah is the fastest land animal on the planet. The reason why, you've got only 35 feet of oil and a lot of friction at the outside part of the lane, and when you get that, that equals a lot of friction. The players are going to be throwing it real hard. Some players are going to be trying to arc it, but I think Walter Ray Williams Jr. has the inside track going straight and hard from the outside part of the lane.
To learn more information about the PBA oil patterns, head to the Tour's official website at www.pba.com. Click on the link for lane conditions, and remember, PBA.com, always your best source for all the latest news, stats, and stories surrounding the Tour. Bookmark it today. And thank you, Crocodile Randy, for that breakdown on the cheetah oil pattern.
Swift and cunning like the cheetah.
Jason Hurd, huge hole. Rev rate way up there, cranking it.
Well, he's a big, like I said, high-powered player, and the only trouble that he runs into is when the lanes get a little bit tricky. And he struggled on television, mostly with his emotions and nerves.
Help on the 9-pin. He's gone 128 events in singles competition without a win. Jason Hurd does have 1 career title. A doubles win in '99. Reno with Johnny Petraglia. Back to Walter Ray, who won in Reno last year, ABC Masters. Oh, tap 10. Now he'll gladly take that. 16 event champions at this point of our season. 4 major champions, including Danny Wiseman, who's earned that 2-year exemption by winning the ABC Masters in Milwaukee to begin our year. And then the points list included as well. The top 4 we've seen already on TV. Brian Voss in the finals last week against the Chief Brian Himmler. Walter Ray blitzes the pins again.
Well, we know Walter Ray likes to play horseshoes. I think he's got a golden horseshoe somewhere. He got the left tap on the 10 the frame before, but that shot there is pured.
Has struck in 7 of 8 frames. Hurd with unusual footwork. In the pocket.
got that little Fred Flintstone type of approach, but the step before the last is his pivot step, and that's what gets him in front of the swing so that he can really load up and hit it.
His first ever matchup head-to-head against Walter Ray on TV. Look at that, 3 opens and 7 today. He had been red hot, 45 without an open. But keep in mind, folks, this probably will not be the last we see of Jason Hurd on TV. He's had a good start. Came in as the 10 stands, number 2 in the tour average list, over a 226 average. Behind the leader Brian Himmler at 231 into this TV show today. And a round of 8 finish last week in Chicago. Walter Ray is going to advance on to the finals.
Get lined up a little better on this one.
Told us he bowled just in a couple of regionals in the offseason.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. on the left lane. This ball right around the second board on the right. Now look at where Jason Hurd's laying it down at, like the 23rd board, going out to that same spot down the lane. Remember, the players look for friction for change of direction. They're both using the same spot down the lane.
Flush in the pocket again. 10 down in the pit for Walter Ray, who's off to the finals looking for a 40th career title.
Dave Ryan, the PBA family would like to wish Hall of Famer Gary Dickinson a speedy recovery from triple bypass heart surgery,
appreciate the head start.
which he underwent this past week. All of our best to Gary and his family.
That's coming from all of us, partner. Walter Ray looks good here today in Cleveland. How about in St. Louis next week? Our coverage rolls on next Sunday. The tour moves to Valley Park, Missouri near St. Louis for the BowlersParadise.com Open. PBA Bowling on ESPN Sunday at 1 Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com. With the spare ball, which you haven't seen very much, Walter Ray takes care of that mark and takes care of Jason Hurd. He was outstanding today. Jason, who unfortunately for him spent a lot of the offseason dodging hurricanes. 3 came within his radar in Titusville, Florida, near Cocoa Beach. Irene, that hurricane, did the most damage, almost $30,000 to his home. Actually knocked the diving board off of his pool into the pool. He and some buddies had to lift a palm tree out of the water of his pool. It was that bad.
Well, he was one of the lucky ones, Dave. I live in Central Florida, and if that's all that the damage that he got, he was lucky.
We certainly hope Jason and his family can recover. Paige Pennington.
The beautiful Paige Pennington.
Great to see her again. And she was instrumental in Walter Ray. Shaving the beard, new haircut. Saw it on that reality show. Said, honey, I think that might look good for you. What do you think?
He looks 10 years younger.
Everyone looks great.
Whoa!
Walter Ray is off to the finals. Lonnie Waliczek, Doug Kent are coming up next. Exciting action from here in suburban Cleveland. The same involves some football players. Wednesday night, 6 members of the Cleveland Browns join the PBA pros for a night of bowling here at Freeway Lanes. After getting their balls drilled and greeting the fans, they were ready to roll. Now their styles and success on the lanes vary, but they had some definitive opinions about how bowling compares to football.
Seems like there's a lot of aggression out on the lanes.
I don't really see no comparison between football. I mean, we're getting hit. The only thing that's probably compared is the pins getting hit with the ball, so that's about it.
Our PBA bowlers are going for a $40,000 first place prize and a tour exemption for the 05-06 season. Doug Kent getting set to take on Lonnie Waliczek. They played in Toledo 2002. As Doug and Lonnie get ready, we learn more about Lonnie in this week's Miller Six Pack with Randy Peterson.
What's the one thing you do that takes your mind completely off of bowling?
I go work out. That's what I love to do. It's a total and complete release for me.
When was the last time something gave you the chills?
Watching Tom Baker raise his arms when he won the World Championship.
That was incredible, wasn't it, to watch that?
It was a great moment. In my bowling career, I want to feel like I think Tom Baker felt in that moment one time.
What is the greatest sports moment you've ever seen?
The thing that stands out in my head as the greatest sports moment for me was watching the 1980 U.S. hockey team. Even as a kid, I remember people being over to watch that thing, and the whole atmosphere of our house was electric, and I will never ever forget that moment.
To you, what is the sweetest sound in the world?
Oh, the sweetest sound in the world is calling home when I'm on the road, and if my daughter picks up the phone and answers and says, "Hello," that's the sweetest sound in the world.
What is your all-time favorite line from a movie?
This isn't Russia. Is this Russia? Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Yeah, Caddyshack. Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, was there anybody that you idolized or that you wanted to be?
Oh my God, yeah. As far as this sport goes, some of these guys that are still playing out here right now. I mean, the Pete Webbers and the Emilito Monticellis and Brian Bosses. Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to be a professional bowler since I was 5 years old. So to be out here now and to get to compete with them on a daily or weekly basis is still an honor for me.
On the road with the PBA Tour. Next week, as we mentioned, bowlersparadise.com open, suburban St. Louis. Be sure to log on to PBA.com, folks. You can sign up for one of 2 sites for the Pro-Ams on Saturday to bowl with the world's best. That is a lot of fun, great experience. After that, Wichita, Kansas, Thanksgiving weekend. So after you get your turkey on Thursday, be sure to tune in to us at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Those are the Pro-Am sites. There are 3 different for the Wichita event Saturday, November 27th. For more, log on to PBA.com. You can sign up right online. Semifinal number 2 to see who takes on Walter Ray Williams Jr. Doug Kent, Lonnie Waliczek. Kent tells us it's been a long time since he's had this chance. A year and a half since he's been on TV and won. Lonnie Waliczek bids for his 3rd career title when we return to suburban Cleveland, Ohio. Just once these 2 bowlers have gone head-to-head on TV. It was won by Doug Kent, Toledo 2002 World Championships. Here it's the PBA Uniroyal Tire Classic, Freeway Lanes outside Cleveland. And our Randy Peterson is joined by these 2 semifinalists.
Thanks, Dave. Doug Kent, 6 career titles and also an ABC Masters, but you haven't made a show in 2 years. What was the difference this week?
Well, I think 3 things, Randy. Focus, grip change, and ebonite balls just keep getting better and better.
Now, how are you going to attack the lanes? I know you're very versatile. You can hook it, you can go straight. Are you going to take a page out of Walter Ray's book? He only shot 268. You're going to try to hook it or go straight?
Well, this pattern dominantly plays up the lane, and Walter made it look real good. That's what we've done all week. It looks like a good route to go.
All right, thanks, Doug. Good luck. Lonnie Waliczek, on the other hand, you made 4 TV finals. It's sweating a little, huh? It's hot out here.
It's hot under these lights. 4
TV finals for you last year, but you told me last night that the only reason why you're here is because of your wife, Amy. Tell us about it.
It's absolutely true. After the first 2 weeks, I wasn't feeling so good about my game, and I was putting off a little bit of a negative vibe, and she kind of set me straight, and in a good way. But basically, from that point on, it was like, you know what? I don't have the right to do this. You know, there's too much at stake. So it's been good ever since.
And I'll ask you the same question I asked Doug. Lane play today?
I don't know. I wanted to play him straight, but I'm throwing some practice balls. They're starting to hook a little bit early, so I may have to move just a little bit off of that really straight line.
Okay, thanks, Lonnie. Good luck. Dave Ryan, the winner of this match, will have to face 39 Five-time titleist Walter Ray Williams Jr. to win the Uniroyal Tire Classic.
Tim Jamison with us, Uniroyal brand manager. Nice to see Tim and his staff here with us in suburban Cleveland, Ohio. And we will closely track Lonnie and Doug Kent, their path to the pocket, what approach they take here. New look for Doug Kent with a goatee as well.
You think?
Ten-pin.
Dougie Fresh. Taking the direct route. And the difference between what you saw with Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Doug Kent, as you see he does not miss spares, is that Walter Ray, his rotation is a little more end over end, so his hand's more up the back of the ball. You'll see Doug with a little bit more of a side rotation or side motion at release.
No shows last season, but still had a solid year. Takes care of his mark. 11th place finish in the points race a year ago with a 217.16 average. Doug earned 51,000 plus on tour, but he'd be the first to tell you it was a disappointment not to be on TV and not to win. Birthday for Lonnie Waliczek yesterday. Belated happy B-Day to you. Good start. Leading us to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Take a look at this. Lonnie Waliczek strikes almost 70% of the time. That's every 7 times he steps on the approach, every 7 out of 10 times, I should say. This guy's throwing strikes. And obviously worked well this week, 16-5 in match play. Started 0-2 against Dave Traber and came back and won the last 4 games.
4-pin for him there. Had a 239 average with Lonnie Waliczek in his match play efforts.
You see Lonnie's trying to go straight as well. We've seen Lonnie this week loop it and go straight like he's going there. But even though he's going straight like Walter and Kent, he's still a little bit further left on the approach and on the lane.
Look out. He misses the 4-pin and an early open for Lonnie Waliczek. As we saw with Jason Hurd, having early open frames against hot bowlers is very tough to absorb.
Well, obviously he's going to be disgusted with that, but he's got to shake that off, put it behind him, move on. Remember, he talked about it in his interview with the attitude adjustment. Just put it behind him, start striking.
Back to Doug Kent. That's through the nose. Double wood for Doug. Not a shot you see very often. Lonnie Waliczek, we know, works very closely with a sports psychologist, and he is digging deep for focus now, Randy. We know that.
Right, and you know what's going to help him is the fact that Doug Kent didn't strike in the second frame. Unlike in the match with Jason Hurd and Walter Ray jumped all over the open frame from Jason Hurd. Right now, Doug Kent's still trying to find the pocket on the right lane.
Stay. 3-9 takes care of both for his mark. Doug Kent's trip to the show. 227.81 average, 16-5 match play record. Brian Smith went down at 4 games in the round of 8 on Friday. Got by another Wichita State Wheat Shocker and Rick Steele-Smith in the round of 32 in 6 games. And that former Wichita star is trying to focus. Perfect shot. Doug Kent coming to us from Newark, New York. In the upstate New York area. Close to Rochester.
When this 15-pounder goes through the pins this hard, nothing's going to stand up. That ball almost ended up in the 7-pin spot. Now, this is a key shot, in my opinion, for Lonnie Waliczek to see how he comes back from that open frame.
Not flush in the pocket for sure. Leaves the 10-pin.
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad a shot. It drifted a little bit high, but it got off his hand real well. Watch the eyes as he keeps his head nice and steady, eyes focused on the target. Ball drifts a little bit high. He'll make an adjustment off that, but the key is that he threw the ball well.
Takes care of the 10-pin. That's his wife, Amy, so instrumental in getting him back on track mentally. And said, hey, if she hadn't told me those things, I never would have made it out of the first round this week.
Well, you know, like I said before about the Dave Traber match, the last person you want to bowl on the cheetah pattern is Dave Traber. And then to fall 0-2 right out of the gates, you know, it was looking pretty bleak, but Lonnie hung in there, kept himself mentally focused, and won the match. And I'll tell you right now, he's fine. That missed spare, and he almost missed the 10-pin. It was close, but he's fine. He's put it behind him. He made a good shot there. He's smiling now. And if he is nervous inside, you can't see it. He hides it well.
Doug Kent has a big crowd watching today. Doug Kent's Rose Bowl Lanes in Newark, New York. Right now working on a strike, a 10-pin lead. Make it 20. 2 straight strikes. Tonight, ESPN, another bitter division rivalry game. Willis McGahee leads the Bills into Gillette Stadium for a meeting with Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champs. Bills Pats also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator, DirecTV, or the Dish Network today. Pats have some injury troubles in the secondary. First time these two teams met, 31-17 Patriot win.
And I'll tell you, one huge Bill fans is trying to throw his first three-bagger of the match, and that's Doug Kent.
He wants to see Drew Bledsoe not get sacked 7 times tonight. Yes, as he was in the first Patriots matchup. And a good ball from Doug Kent again.
Speaking of sacked, Doug Kent just sacked the 1-3 pocket. Watch this ball get out. The 2-3 board, comes back, shreds the rack. Three-bagger for Doug Kent.
Working on a strike, Lonnie down 30 pins. Chance to reduce the deficit to 20. Former two-time All-American at Wichita State. Oh, flirting with the edge of the channel there. But it hustles back to the pocket.
Watch how far right this ball gets. Ooh. That's the one board. That is the one board.
All of it too, Randy, wasn't it?
Yeah, all of it.
Lonnie coming off a very good season last year. Did make 4 TV shows, a career best, but when he got to TV, unfortunately, a little bit like that open frame we saw today, had some troubles. Couldn't finish matches. And leave the mental focus again today. There we go.
Wow. All I can say is wow. Big shot.
Lonnie Waliczek. Doug Kent trying to make some history here in suburban Cleveland. One of the all-time greats, Norm Duke, did that. The 1983 Cleveland Open saw young Norm Duke bowling in his first ever TV finals. He refused to be intimidated as he dispatched 2 PBA Hall of Famers, Earl Anthony in match 1 and Steve Cook in match 2. After beating John Wilcox, Norm Duke rolled over Tom Milton in the final, averaging 241 in 4 matches, en route to his first career title. At 18 years old, he became the youngest ever to win a PBA event, a record that still stands to this day. The PBA on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. You too could save 15% or more on car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO. By Uniroyal Tires, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal Tires, trusted by American families since 1892. And by Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? Lake Erie, downtown Cleveland, just 15 minutes from where we are right now, Wickliffe, Ohio. We welcome you back to Freeway Lanes before Doug Kent and Lonnie Waliczek continue their battle for the semifinal to see who takes on Walter Ray Williams in the final match. Randy explains why Kent is never in a rush on the lanes in this week's Dexter Approach.
Doug Kent with a deliberate 5-step approach. His footwork is slow because he has late timing. Notice where the ball is in relationship to that step. That's in the third step, a step late for most. But what he does as well as anybody is he waits for the ball in the downswing. He lets gravity help the ball to free fall from the top of the swing. This takes great discipline, but also creates a magnificent release.
That's this week's Dexter Approach with Doug Kent. A lot of big events in the offseason for bowlers on our PBA Tour. Doug married his longtime girlfriend, Chrissy, July 10th. Good start off the break for Doug Kent.
There's Chrissy.
For Chrissy, who's pregnant, we understand. To both Doug and Chrissy, that's great. Due in May.
May 25th.
Wow.
Congrats.
We assume a future bowler with all the bowling connections that family has.
He's got a good start. He's got a center he can go practice at. He or she can go practice at any time. And there's Doug's mom and dad. Working on a 4-bagger. 6 frame.
With Mike and Nancy, his parents watching. Doug is in the pocket again. As we see bottom of the screen, other finishers starting this year. We're in the exempt field of 64, so it's round of 64 play. No more 9-game qualifying blocks. The way the bowlers used to have the 2 blocks getting into match play, going right to match play now. See Tom Baker there, who won the World Championship, the long exemption last year. Some big names. They've not seen Chris Barnes in a show yet.
That's early. You'll see him, trust me. Lonnie going for an adjustment. Tape. But this won't be a shot clock violation. Anytime you change tape or adjust a grip, you get kind of like a timeout. And then they reset the shot clock once he's ready.
Crew showed you sequence of Lonnie down the lane, 60 feet to success for him.
Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me, the talent of the guys out on the tour under the type of pressure that they face week in and week out, and playing that type of angle that close to the edge to where, you know, one false move or the ball coming off your hand incorrectly, it goes right into the gutter and you get 0. Now Lonnie Waliczek can cut this to a 10-pin match with a strike right here.
Boy, that was really high. You could tell on one knee how perplexed he was at the ball reaction. And this is 13th career television appearance.
And this ball is going to grab the lane way too early. Either it's too slow off his hand or it just got into the dry too quick. He had no chance to hold pocket, cut through, leaving the 3, 6, 9, 10.
Let's pick them all up here. Multi-pin numbers. Not great. 10-pin stands.
All on it.
And that hurts.
And 2 missed spares for Lonnie is going to be his undoing if Doug Kent continues on this path. Again, we've talked about this spare before, the 3, 6, 9, 10, the hardest non-split to make out on the PBA Tour. Lonnie decided to take his spare ball and throw it straight and hard at it.
Back to the focus.
He needs some help from Doug Kent.
Who's up 36 pins, Randy. 46-pin lead with another strike.
Perfect, baby. Yes,
There
baby.
it is. Shreds the round. Kent red hot. Frames 3 through 8 he has struck. Trying to close out this win. Well, non-exempt qualifiers, how they qualified and how they finished, led by Dale Traber, number 17. The top amateur we talked about, Liz Johnson, first ever woman to make match play at a national PBA event, but she did so well too in qualifying.
Yeah, and keep in mind, she qualified 4th.
Yeah. Just a touch high for Kent there, 9-pin.
Oh, see that, Joe. Oh.
Yeah, when you talk about friction, you can see what happens when the ball goes through the pins. Watch this. This ball is going to carve so hard. This is a 15-pounder. It goes right by the 9-pin.
Breaks a 6-strike streak for Doug Kent.
6-strike streak. Try saying that 3 times real fast.
It's a miracle I got through it once. I'm not trying it again. 9-pin. $45-pin deficit now for Lonnie. He's not been on TV since, unfortunately for him, one of the 2 TV collapses he had last year in Medford. As it leaves a 4-pin, he had Pete Weber beaten and then had some trouble late. And of course, Seattle last year. The match is officially over now. Lonnie has lost it in the semis, where he left that open frame against Walter Ray to begin the second half of our season a year ago. So Lonnie Waliczek will go down to Doug Kent. Doug will take on Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the finals. They have matched up 6 times on TV in the past, 3-3. Is the record for Doug Kent against the legendary Walter Ray Williams Jr. with a .230 average. So someone has got to take the advantage in that head-to-head series. Someone will take home the $40,000 prize and the automatic exemption.
We are fast tracking to the end of this match. Doug Kent will now throw or finish the 10th frame. Maybe try a different ball or a different line just to make sure that he has what he feels is a pretty good route to the pocket when he takes on Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Doug Kent talked to us, Randy, about focus. Not concentrating so much on his opponent, but on what he was doing much more this year. And evidently that has helped, at least in today's match.
You know, Doug Kent almost didn't come out this year. When he finished 10th in Japan early in the summer, or late summer, I should say, he got knocked out of the TV show there in the last game, and he was all but done.
This breaks a 34-match streak without being on TV, 34 events in a row. So Doug Kent takes out Lonnie Waliczek 247 to 198. He'll take on Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the final.
Might not be enough for the title
We've got some outlandish skills coming in the Miller High Life Skills Challenge.
To win this game.
Coming up, a brand new feature to our PBA broadcast, the Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge. Can Jason Couch make this wacky strike?
I got skills. I don't know if I brought them today or not.
We are getting set. PBA Uniroyal Tire Classic in Freeway Lanes, suburban Cleveland for the final. Doug Kent, Walter Ray Williams Jr. First, a chance to tell you about some football coming your way. Monday Night Countdown provides comprehensive analysis, interviews, highlights, up-to-the-minute NFL news, and live reports from the site of ABC's Monday Night Football game. Getting you ready for the big game this week. Eagles, Cowboys. Philadelphia coming off its first loss of the year against Pittsburgh. Dallas at 3-5. Joy Al Michaels, John Madden, as Don McNabb and Terrell Owens and the Eagles take on Dallas, 9 o'clock Monday night. Every week on our PBA and ESPN telecast, you'll get a chance to see another example of how skillful the PBA pros are as we bring you the Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge. The rules are simple. Make 3 shots. Your opponent cannot. Players receive an X on the scoreboard every time they outskill their opponent. First 1 to 3 X's win. 16 bowlers competing for a top prize of $20,000. We'll kick off the competition with our first round of 16 match. Jason Couch taking on Richie Wolf.
From Vienna, Virginia,
Go with
Richard Wolf. He won the Tournament of Champions a record 3 times from Claremont, Florida. Give it up for Jason Couch.
Richie Wolf will start us off, trying to strike with 5 balls at once. Randy, can you pull this off?
Yeah.
Well, this is pretty tough. All 5 balls have to stay on the lane.
Here he goes.
Come here, baby.
Got to get that last one on there. It's got to stay on as well. The last ball's got to stay on. It does.
Give me 5 right now. Yeah.
Very nice. All 5 balls stay on the lane. This is a successful shot and pretty tough.
Come on,
Look
Jim.
at that last ball just hanging on. This shot here takes a lot of coordination. Obviously, Jason Couch skipped that class in high school.
Get up!
Nowhere near getting that to work. In fact, he's got several balls in the gutter.
I stink.
I'm not sure, but I do know one thing.
Richie Wolf, up 1 strike to none, will try to throw his ball over a 1-inch piece of tape down lane and strike.
Bang!
A picture of accuracy. Not only hitting the tape right there, but getting all 10 to go down. Watch this, dead flush, perfect.
I don't know. Be the ball.
No, 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 no.
Caddyshack-esque. He doesn't have Billy Ballou, though. Well, he's got a strike, but is he over the tape is the question.
Here comes your review, Jay.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Oh, just a bit outside.
So he's down 2-0. He's got to make something happen now to get back in the match.
2, 6, 7, 10 split. It's got a chance. Nicely done.
Yeah, tell Randy Peterson that's a 9.
Well, I don't think that's a 9. You basically have to cover the baby split, which
Hey,
he
did you
does
feel that?
perfectly.
What's that? You guys feel that momentum shift? Woo!
A confident
Oh,
Couch.
that little black mark's down there again, isn't it?
2, 6, 7, 10 split. Richie Wolf needs it.
No, no!
Chop.
Jason Couch is
And Jason Couch is, in fact, on the board. It's 2-1.
Good job, Jay.
One 7-10 with this big hook. Should have no problem for Jason Couch. Perfect.
I want to hook at that. I'm surprised you're hooking it that much.
Pretty impressive. Trying to continue the momentum.
Right? Isn't that a lot of
Squeezy, squeezy, Rich.
You're hooking it a lot at that. I'm surprised.
The 7.
I'm going to try to split the 110.
I'm not sure I like the strategy with the plastic spare ball. I like Jason's route with the hook ball right side of the head pin.
Wow, that was a good one. I really wasn't trying to split the 110. I was just kidding.
You called your shot.
Our PBA Skills Challenge now all tied up. Trying to keep the pressure on. 4, 5, 9, 10 spare. Gets it. Jason Couch right back in the match.
Good job, brother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Down 0-2. Could be victory.
Big shot here. Basically throws a strike ball. That big hook, a real advantage for Jason Couch.
I'm going to get right to you. If I miss, I'm just going to go that way.
4, 5, 9, 10. Needs it. And the 9-10 stay up. Jason Couch comes back down from 0-2 and win it 3-2, advancing to the round of 8.
Jason Couch.
Be sure to tune in next week to see whether Walter Ray Williams Jr. or Brian Kretzer will join Couch in the Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge round of 8s. We look forward to that. We also look forward to this championship match. Doug Kent, who is 3-3 all time against Walter Ray, goes for a title when we return.
We are back awaiting the title match between Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Doug Kent. Let us show you how they got here with our Geico Direct Championship recap. Early in match 1, it was Walter Ray Williams Jr. defeating Jason Hurd by the score of 268-186. Walter Ray never missed the pocket. Proved too much for Jason Hurd. Then in match number 2, it was Doug Kent defeating Lonnie Waliczek by the score of 247-198. Kent with the big six-bagger to seal the deal, setting up a great championship match for the PBA Uniroyal Tire Classic title.
All right, thanks so much. And we're the finalists now, Doug Kent and Walter Ray Williams Jr. A couple of balls in the channel, the gutter there, Walter Ray, for you in the warm-up. How's the oil responding to where you're placing the ball down lane?
Well, the lanes are starting to break down just a little bit, but I just did that for Doug's benefit.
That was so nice of you. Good luck getting your 40th career win.
Thank you.
And Doug, we talked about concentration for you as a big element of your off-season preparation, trying to make sure you're only worried about what's happening to Doug Kent, not Walter Ray. Did that help you in your first match?
Oh, absolutely. This title match is going to be a high-score match. You just better bring it.
All right, he is more than ready, Randy. The challenge has been issued.
Well, when we look at the keys for these two players, Walter Ray needs to maintain ball speed and basically just stay out of Walter Ray's own way. But this is the key right here for Doug Kent. Stay confident. And with that last response to Dave Ryan's question, boy, you can really see how focused and confident Doug Kent is.
Gets a late tap on number 10. Down she goes. And a good start for Doug. Is he focused? Without talking going on.
Without question.
Drew some oohs and ahs from the crowd here in Cleveland after that comment. Walter Ray.
You don't intimidate the greatest player in the world. I mean, it just doesn't happen. When you look at the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup, the averages are pretty close. The only thing that really stands out is spare conversions, and if this comes down to a spare contest, nobody's going to beat Walter Ray at that either. However, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be a slugfest. 9 out of 11 strikes in his first match. Oh! Get out of here, 7-pin.
Late hit on number 7. And down it goes. He'll take that break gladly.
This is going to be the half pocket, the blower, the rip the rack, whatever you want to call it. 7-pin. Get out of there.
Now he moved a couple of boards from lane to lane. You could tell the path to the pocket, Randy, much different. First 2 shots from Walter Ray. Why is that?
The players get to start playing the same spot on the lane, especially on wood surface, which is what we have here. The lanes are going to burn up and dry up there. You have to move into some more oil to get the ball to slide.
That almost crossed all the way over the head pin. Comes in way high for Doug Kent. And the 3 and 6 remain up.
That's a great question, though, and I think that's what happens to most league bowlers at home. They stay in the same spot for 3 games, and the lanes start to change, and all of a sudden their ball doesn't get to the pocket anymore, and they think it's them. You have to adjust. The lanes are constantly changing.
Takes care of his mark. ESPN's coverage of the PBA Tour rolls on next Sunday. The tour moves to Valley Park, Missouri for the BowlersParadise.com Open. PBA Bowling on ESPN Sunday at 1 Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com. That's where we are headed. Back to the Central Time Zone. Doug Kent hopes he's headed for a 7th title. And shots like that, he may just be.
Back on track. They don't call him Dougie Fresh for nothing. Watch how smooth this is. That head is steady. Eddie waits on the ball. Perfect balance at the foul line. Just like any sport, you have to have good balance and good fundamentals. Doug Kent has that.
Come on, baby.
Doug Kent has fundamentals and skills. This guy's got ill skill. It's amazing to watch Walter Ray week after week. What he does, no matter what the pattern is. You see he made $233,000 last year. The year before he made over $400,000.
Looks to the front 4 and a 30-pin lead. 10-pin.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Oh. Close, but no cigars. Or,
all right,
who was that close, but horseshoes and something else? Ah, never mind. 10-pin still stands.
Ball return came down before that 10 pin could get knocked over. We see the single pin conversions are perfect. Speaking of horseshoes, wow. Many times a world champion at that sport is Walter Ray Williams Jr. We'll tell you more about that story when we return. Championship match here. Doug Kent, Walter Ray Williams Jr. in action. Looking back to last week's 2004 PBA Chicago Open, defending champion Brian Himmler took on PBA Hall of Famer Brian Voss in the title match. The Chief opened the match with 7 strikes, leaving only a 10 pin in the 8th frame to break up a possible 300 game. Himmler's performance proved too much for the 22-time champion Brian Voss, winning 279 and 228 in the final match. Against the 6-time Player of the Year and a Hall of Famer in Walter Ray Williams Jr., Doug Kent is down 19 pins in the championship match here in suburban Cleveland, leading us to the Uniroyal Tire Rock and Roll.
Dave, if you want to win a major championship or any championship on the PBA Tour, you got to have good roll to create good carry like that. 6 pin goes to the wall, carries to the late 10. This guy's no stranger to good ball roll. Check this out. Good carry creates big scores. That's how you win on the PBA Tour.
Special thanks to Dave and Glenn, President and CEO of Freeway Lanes Bowling Group. There are several bowling centers across Ohio, including this incredible facility, 96 lanes, the largest in the country.
Not to mention just immaculate inside. It's a beautiful facility.
So special thanks to those gentlemen and their staff here. Kent stays hot. And a big shot there.
Good ball team.
Third strike in this championship match for him.
Did 1 frame too late with that ball.
Watch this. As soon as he leaves his hand, he knows it's good. He makes the adjustment. Can you say flush? Doug Kent with a strike in the 5th can cut this, or can actually take the lead by 1.
He'll do just that.
Doug Kent very focused, very confident. He has to be when bowling against the #1 player of all time, in my opinion. Is you see this rotation, that's what makes the ball change direction down the lane once friction's created. Wow. We saw Doug Kent go high in the 2nd frame. You now see Walter Ray go just a pinch high with this shot on that same lane. That's what we call high flush. The ball goes right by the 9 pin. Walter will make an adjustment. I guarantee you the next time he's on the right lane.
They don't call him Deadeye for nothing. He's incredible at in-game management and making those minute adjustments that are so critical to success when you're on TV 145 times. You can do things like that. Go 113 frames without an open. He's all-time leader in TV appearances in PBA history. First ever to win more than $3 million on tour. He's almost at $3.4 million after today, depending on where he finishes here.
And hasn't had an open frame in 114 frames. Just so simplistic. This motion, the hand underneath it, the straight direct line to the 1-3 pocket.
Doug Kent seeking a 4-bagger here. Chance for a 12-pin lead. Things very tight. 6th frame for Doug. It did. 10 down in the pit for Doug Kent, who's fared very well here in the state of Ohio, including a win over Lonnie Waliczek in the 2002 PBA World Championship, his first full-fledged major title. He's won 6 times on tour. He was 23rd last week in Chicago. In Milwaukee to begin our season, 33rd. 55th in Japan, so steadily getting better. Hoping for a first place finish in Cleveland.
Well, the word that comes to my mind when I watch that shot is pure. And right now, Doug Kent is really giving it to Walter Ray Williams Jr.
5 strikes in a row. The breakdown through 6, you see it. 22-pin lead. Walter Ray works on a strike, though. Can reduce it to 12, and will.
Let's take a look at the comparisons in ball roll. Watch Walter Ray Williams here. His hand pretty much up the back of it. You can see the ball rolling pretty much end over end with just a little bit of side turn. Now watch Doug Kent release. His hand's going to go around the side much more, and you can see he's got much more of a side rotation to his bowling ball. That's why he's further left on the lane.
Deficit is 2 for Walter Ray Williams Jr. Another strike. 3 in a row for him. Kent has a 5-bagger. He wants to stretch to 6. 280 max score for Doug Kent. 268 for Walter Ray Williams Jr. at the moment. Another one. 6 in a row.
You can really see how aggressive Doug Kent is being at the foul line. He's posting, which means he's sticking the landing. His hand is where it wants to be. His release point is perfect. He's throwing great shots. We talk about pressure, Dave Ryan. Quite honestly, pressure is what makes playing sports fun. It's what makes it all worthwhile.
30th career TV appearance, Doug Kent. Oh, no. Hoping to make it a memorable one, but the 10-pin stands. And that could open the door for a hot Walter Ray Williams Jr. We'll find out. Things are tight.
You heard that, oh no. You could see it release, that his hand rotated around it a little early. That got the ball to skid and push just a little bit longer down the lane, changing the entry angle, causing the ringing 10.
Takes care of the single pin conversion, so we can talk a little football. Doug Kent is a huge Buffalo Bills fan. His team with Willis McGahee taking on the New England Patriots tonight. Sunday Night Football on ESPN. NFL Primetime gets you going, presented by Miller Lite, also available on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator, DirecTV, or the Dish Network today. Sign up. Back to Walter Ray. 10 down.
Let me set the stage for you guys. Walter Ray needs 2 strikes and 2 pins in the 10th frame to win title number 40.
Definition of shredding the rack.
That's just dead flush perfect. You're going to knock 20 pins down with that ball. 2 and 2 to win it.
Really make history. Chance to become the second ever to win 40 career titles. There's one. Needs a strike at 2 pins, and he's got number 40.
Come on.
Just a couple of pins, and he's got his victory.
Dave Ryan, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this guy here has just won his 40th title. He can handle 2 pins. He's going to stay behind the foul line. Just an incredible feat by this man. His 40th title, one away from the late, great Earl Anthony. With
that shot, in style. Another strike. 40 career titles, Walter Ray Williams Jr. makes even more history in his legendary career.
You heard Doug Kent in the 9th frame when he left the ring in 10 say, "Oh no," almost like he knew. You don't give that man, Walter Ray Williams Jr., a chance to get up and beat you. And that's exactly what happened.
10 strikes, Walter Ray Williams Jr. in that match. And the late stumble, if that's what you call it, but it was a non-strike. And in a battle of heavyweights, a slugfest, Randy, as you mentioned, you can't afford a non-strike in this situation. Just impossible.
He had him right where he wanted him until the shot in the 9th. He had Walter Ray on the ropes. As soon as that opening showed up, the Hall of Famer and 40-time titleist took advantage of the opening.
Great week for Doug Kent. First time he's back on TV. He crosses over there with a Brooklyn strike. And Paige Pennington, Walter Ray Williams' wife, and Chrissy there as well. Two greats on our tour.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. nudges that much closer to the all-time record. He is 2 away now from tying Earl Anthony. He would love, with those victories, to become the all-time leader. Closing in with Earl Anthony, as we talked about, with a great record. Walter Ray Williams Jr. got so hot. The PBA on ESPN is brought to you by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. Education for financial wellness brought to you by Cambridge Credit Counseling Corporation. And by Odor Eaters with unique Zorbatex technology. Destroys foot odor and absorbs sweat on contacts.
We are back. Walter Ray Williams Jr. capturing his 40th title here at the Uniroyal Tire Classic. Let's take a look back at the day. Semifinal number 1, Walter Ray Williams Jr. red hot against Jason Hurd. 268 to Jason Hurd's 186. In match number 2, Dougie Fresh, Doug Kent takes on Lonnie Waliczek. Has a late 6-bagger to seal the deal and beats him 247 to 198, setting up just an awesome title match. And in the title, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Another 268 to seal up his 40th championship on the PBA Tour.
Career win number 40 for you. You're one shy of tying Earl Anthony's record. Walter Ray, what does it mean to you?
Turning 40 is not so bad. It's great. When I first started bowling on tour 22 years ago, I didn't think anything about something like this. This has been wonderful, fantastic. Doug bowled a great match. Unfortunately for him, he threw a great shot in the 9th frame, left the ring in 10, and fortunately for me, I was able to throw the shots I needed to get the strikes and sneak out the win. But it's been fun, and hopefully I can win another one next week.
You're known as Deadeye because of the great horseshoe pitching stats you've compiled over your career. Today you had to be so accurate in this slugfest because really anything but a strike would hurt you. How do you stay so focused?
Well, I knew I had a good reaction. It's a pretty high-scoring pattern normally, this cheetah pattern, but I had a good reaction. I just knew I just needed to throw the ball decent, and hopefully the pins would cooperate, and they pretty much did, especially that first game. I had a couple of love taps getting those 10-outs, which I don't remember getting any of those during the week, so that was nice. It was also nice Jason taking it easy on me, and and then the opening that Doug allowed me to have. I really figured he would just keep striking, but I knew I had to keep striking to put pressure back on him. So.
40 career wins, does it always feel like the first one when you get this victory, that same feeling?
Every win's great. I mean, I'm all smiles right now, and I'll be that way for a few days.
Congratulations on a great week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here are our updated points. As you see, Walter Ray Williams Jr. moves all the way up to 5th, 25,000 points. The march to the PBA World Championships. Remember, only the top 4 this year are seated in the elite field for that tournament. Just an amazing, amazing man right there at 45 years of age. And what he has accomplished on this tour, the likes of which may never be seen again. Walter Ray Williams Jr., no matter what, no matter the adversity, gets it done. A true champion, a true Hall of Famer.
Desire and the drive for Walter Ray Williams Jr. to become Player of the Year for a 7th time is always there. He's got a great start as he wins our 3rd event of this season. Congratulations goes out to him. Be sure to join us next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN for the PBA BowlersParadise.com, open from Valley Park, Missouri, near St. Louis. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For the entire crew, my partner Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Wickliffe, Ohio, near Cleveland. Man of the moment, the legend, Hall of Famer Walter Ray Williams Jr.